What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in to break down all new Eververse items which will be sold for Bright Dust and Silver in Season 18. And so if you're looking to pick up a specific Eververse item and wonder whether to use Silver or Bright Dust to purchase it, in the video today we'll break down when they'll be available in the store, as there do tend to be a lot of items which sell for Silver first, only to be sold for Bright Dust later in the season. And so as always, I hope the video is helpful guys. So just bear in mind as always, while it doesn't tend to happen very often, the calendar is subject to change. We've only ever seen it once or twice, but worth keeping in mind that it is a possibility. I should also give a huge shout out to todayindestiny.com here as well, as they have a highly detailed store calendar, plus some other awesome D2 tools on their site which help to make videos like this, so be sure to check out Today in Destiny linked in the description. And now let's talk about inventory stuff. Of course, we're in the first week of Season of Plunder as this video goes live, and looking at week 2, there aren't any brand new Season 18 items listed, so for this video we'll jump to week 3 of the season when new items start rolling out. And again, if you want more detail on all of the store items that'll be available, be sure to check out the calendar in full. In terms of new Season 18 items though, for Eververse Week 3, which will be the 6th of September, we'll see the Photovoltaic Exotic Ghost Shell, pretty cool kind of satellite ghost right there. It'll be 2850 Bright Dust, and it's only going to be available for Bright Dust inside of Week 3, and otherwise will be available for Silver. Additionally though, in Week 3 we'll get the Cursed Azure, a new shader for Season 18, that'll be 300 Bright Dust, and Week 3 is the only time that it will be available for that currency. Next we move on to Week 4, which will be the 13th of September, and we start to get a few more items from the season. Initially the Cannon Fodder Transmat effect, which will be 450 Bright Dust, and then another new Season 18 shader called Whispered Sheen, and a rare emote called Dramatic Countdown, which will be 400 Bright Dust in Week 4 as well. Plus we'll see the gauntlets from the new Eververse step for this season, which is the Fortnite themed set. Those will be available for all characters for 1600 Bright Dust. And Week 4 again is the only time that they'll be sold for Bright Dust in the season. Plus we'll get a new exotic weapon ornament. This is Theoretical Endothermics for Coldheart. That'll cost 1250 Bright Dust, and Week 4 is the only time that it will be available for Bright Dust, having previously come up for Silver in Week 3. So if you can hold on for 1 week, you should be able to purchase it for Bright Dust instead. And here we get to Week 5 of the season, which will start on the 20th of September. This will be fairly uneventful in terms of brand new items for the season, and the only new thing we'll see will be the Overflowing Treasure projection, a ghost projection there, which will cost 1500 Bright Dust, and Week 5 will be the only time that it's available for that currency. On the 27th of September, which is Week 6, we'll see the Thinking Headache rare emote, that'll be 400 Bright Dust, as well as the X Marks the Spot projection, which will be 1500 Bright Dust, a Season 18 themed projection there, and another new shader, which is Breezy Clear. As always, that will be 300 Bright Dust. Otherwise, in that same week, we'll see the boots from the Eververse armor set for the season, again available for all 3 classes, and they will cost 1600 Bright Dust, with Week 6 being the only time they're featured for Bright Dust purchase. Going into Week 7, which will be the 4th of October, we get a couple more exotic items, although initially we have the Dreaming Shimmer Transmat effect, a new one available for 450 Bright Dust that week. Plus there'll be a new exotic emote called the Hatchling Huddle, that will be 3250 Bright Dust. It's also available for Silver on Weeks 2 and 12, but Week 7 will be the only time available for Bright Dust. Plus there's a cool new Fallen themed Sparrow here called Skiff Scooter. It'll be available on a couple of different weeks for Silver, but in Week 7 it'll be available for 2500 Bright Dust. And we get a new exotic weapon ornament for Sleeper Simulant. This is Directive Crash, and on Week 7 it will be available for 1250 Bright Dust, but it will be available for Silver on 6 other weeks. So bear in mind, if you want the Bright Dust purchase, Week 7 is the one to watch. Then we'll be heading into Week 8 of the season, which will be the 11th of October. Things stay a little bit more interesting, and we get an exotic emote called Spherical Ruminations. That will be 3250 Bright Dust available on Week 8. There will also be Tethys Shell. I believe that's the Telesto themed ghost shell right there, and on Week 8 it will be available for 2850 Bright Dust. We'll also see the Take a Seat multiplayer emote. That one will be up for 2500 Bright Dust, and then a Fallen themed exotic ghost called the Skiff Scribble Shell. That one will cost 1500 Bright Dust in Week 8. Plus we'll see legendary class items for the Eververse set for this season. Once again, that is the Fortnite themed stuff, available for all 3 characters, and they'll be 1600 Bright Dust each. And the final new Week 8 item will be the Pseudoscience ornament for Wave Splitter, a really cool exotic ornament right there, and we'll be able to pick that up for 1250 Bright Dust, with it previously coming up for Silver on Week 5. Week 9 will begin on the 18th of October, and this will actually be the first week of Festival of the Lost for the year. And so looking at the icons there, you'll spot a bunch of different festival items from previous years. And then there are a couple with these pink icons. These are classified. And so unfortunately we can't view all of those items just yet, but the first week of Festival will see the No Escape Legendary emote for 700 Bright Dust, and the Manse Macabre Exotic Ship for 2000 Bright Dust. And once again, unfortunately we just can't preview those at the moment. Then for the second week of Festival of the Lost, which will be week 10 of the season on the 25th of October, there'll be another new exotic ghost shell here called Hazy Future. It'll be 2850 Bright Dust, but again, the preview isn't available. But we do get a preview available right here for a new Parasite exotic weapon ornament, and this is Worm Perilous. Certainly a pretty cool looking ornament there, and it will be 1250 Bright Dust on week 10, which will be the only opportunity to grab it for Bright Dust in the season. So definitely bear that in mind. And for week 11 of the season, which will be the 1st of November, that'll be the final week of the event. Again, there are items that we can't preview, but another new item that'll be available in the same week will be the Promethean Prelude, an ornament for the Grand Overture, and that will be 1250 Bright Dust. And as we've seen many times, week 11 will be the only week which that is available for Bright Dust. Into the final 3 weeks of the season though, for week 12 on the 8th of November, straight away we're going to see a new ornament for Thunderlord. This is the Indra Soaring. And for week 12 it will be purchasable for 1250 Bright Dust. It'll also be available 6 weeks earlier for Silver, so you can hold out for that one if you want to. Plus we'll get the Queen's Best exotic ship. This is the kind of Telesto themed set of items, I believe. Cool ship right there for week 12, and it will be 2000 Bright Dust. We'll also see a new ghost projection called If It Fits. That'll be 1500 Bright Dust that week, plus an exotic emote called the High Seas Dance, which will be 3250 Bright Dust. Then we get a rather unusual looking sparrow right here, the Sunny Day Seeker. Looks like it's covered in solar panels or something like that. But for week 12, it will be available for 2500 Bright Dust. We can see again, that is available on numerous other weeks for Silver. And finishing off for new items that week, we will get the chest piece from the Eververse Legendary Armor set, available for all 3 characters again, costing 1600 Bright Dust each. Then for week 13 of season 18, which will be the 15th of November, so many numbers here. New items for Bright Dust will include the Scene Clapper Legendary emote, that'll be 700 Bright Dust. And we're going to see a new exotic emote called Gong Show, that'll be 3250 Bright Dust. Then there's a new exotic ghost shell called the Additive Shell. That one's going to cost 2850 Bright Dust. Plus a new sparrow called Chelicerated Visitor, which will be 2500 Bright Dust. Again, some of these items coming up for Bright Dust right at the end of the season after being sold many times for Silver. Another pretty cool item right here is a new ornament for Jotun, which is the Muspel Populux. Certainly think it looks very cool, and in week 13 it will be available for 1250 Bright Dust. Which leads us into week 14 for the season. That's going to be the 22nd of November. And we're going to see the Swab the Deck exotic emote. That'll be 3250 Bright Dust. Plus there'll be a new exotic ship, and that's the Heliotropium, available for 2000 Bright Dust in week 14. Plus finally we'll get access to the helmets for the Legendary Eververse set this season. Available again for all 3 characters, costing 1600 Bright Dust each. And we'll get a new ornament for the Last Word. This is called End of an Era, and it's available for 1250 Bright Dust in week 14. And now we're at the very final week of season 18. This is week 15, which is the 29th of November. And we're going to see the Telesto themed sparrow, Omen of Saturn. That will cost 2500 Bright Dust. Plus we'll see a new ornament for Leviathan's Breath, the Grimmest Hunter, which will be 1250 Bright Dust. Certainly a pretty cool one there. There'll be a new legendary ghost projection called the Hazardous Projection for 1500 Bright Dust. Plus a legendary emote called Great Stuff Dance, which is 700 Bright Dust. And finally we'll have a new exotic sparrow called the Lightweight Custom. That'll be 2500 Bright Dust. There'll also be a new exotic ship for the season, the Zenithalassic Voyage, which will be 2000 Bright Dust. Then the very final item, a pretty cool exotic ornament right here, is the Honor of the Empress for Skyburner's Oath. We can see it's a Keitel-themed ornament, essentially, and it will be 1250 Bright Dust in that very final week. And so guys, I hope that was easy enough to follow. This video format's taken a little bit of refining considering how many different items we're touching on. But let us know down below if there are any items you're really excited to go after this season. If you've enjoyed the video today, a rating down below really does help us out, and if you want to see more content like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button or turn on notifications so I can keep you up to date immediately. Otherwise though, I really appreciate you tuning in. Again, big shout out to todayindestiny.com for their Eververse calendar, and a bunch of other tools which you can check out on their site linked below. But otherwise, I hope you have an awesome day.